A child never forgets the moment he realizes he doesn't belong. My name is Kayla, and the day my 4-year-old son was rejected in front of my entire family was the day I stopped calling those people my family. It happened during my father's annual backyard gathering. Expensive food, wealthy guests, and fake smiles were everywhere. Leo stood quietly beside me, watching everyone enjoy themselves without complaining. Then he noticed a tray of fresh fries and politely asked if he could have a few. Before anyone could respond, my father pulled the plate away and said loudly, "Those are for my real grandson, not for you." The yard fell silent for just a second. Then the laughter began. I looked at my little boy's face, saw the tears forming in his eyes, and in that moment, I made a decision that would change every one of our lives forever. I didn't argue. I didn't beg for respect. I simply took Leo's hand, thanked no one, and walked out of that backyard without looking back. A few minutes later, we were sitting in a small family diner across town. While he happily ate a basket of fries, I watched his smile slowly return. As I looked at him, I made a silent promise. No one would ever make my son feel unwanted again. What my father didn't know was that he had just humiliated the one person holding the key to his company's biggest opportunity. For years, everyone believed I depended on my family's business. The truth was exactly the opposite. And within hours, a single legal document would put my father's entire empire in danger. For years, my family thought I was nothing more than the quiet adopted daughter who followed orders. They never realized I had been building something of my own. After work, I spent nights consulting for cities and private developers. Every project helped me create a company no one in my family knew existed. 3 years later, my engineering firm owned a breakthrough environmental filtration system protected by federal patents. Those designs became the new industry standard. What my father didn't know was that his company had secretly used my patented technology in a bid for a $50 million public project, without my permission. He believed I would stay silent like always. He was about to discover that I wasn't the same woman he had spent years trying to control. The same evening, after leaving the restaurant, I called my attorney. We gathered every document that proved the technology belonged to my company alone. Then we discovered something even worse. My father's business hadn't just used my patented system. They had submitted official government paperwork with my professional engineering approval attached. I had never signed those documents. Someone had copied my credentials without permission. Within minutes, my legal team filed an emergency patent infringement complaint and formally notified the city's project committee. By the time my father was celebrating with his guests, the investigation had already begun. That night, the city reviewed the evidence. The documents were clear. My company's patents had been used without authorization, and the approval attached to the proposal wasn't legally valid. The committee acted immediately. My father's company was removed from the $50 million project before the final contract could be signed. The news spread faster than anyone expected. Banks that had already financed the project suddenly questioned every agreement they had made with his business. Within hours, lenders froze key accounts while lawyers demanded answers. The celebration at my father's mansion ended in complete panic. And then, my phone started ringing nonstop. My phone wouldn't stop vibrating, call after call. First from my father, then from my sister. I ignored every one of them. A few minutes later, a message finally appeared. "Kayla, please answer. We need your authorization. Without it, the company won't survive. Tell us what you want. We'll do anything." I looked across the table. Leo was smiling as he colored on a paper menu, completely unaware of the storm unfolding miles away. For the first time in years, I felt no anger, only peace. I typed a short reply, pressed send, and blocked every number they used. My message contained just 5 words. "It's too late. Goodbye forever." Months later, our lives looked completely different. My company successfully completed the environmental project with honesty and transparency, earning the trust of cities across the state. Leo finally grew up in a home filled with love instead of rejection. Looking back, I realized something important. Family isn't defined by blood. It's defined by the people who protect your heart when you're at your weakest. The day my father rejected my son felt like the end of my world. In reality, it was the beginning of a better one. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't fighting for a place where you're unwanted. It's walking away and building a life they can never take from you.